Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my Dark Knights. It's the Bat Brand, and it's spooky season. So you know it's time for me to show off a brand new deck profile for you guys. And this is Zombies. This is Zombies. It is pretty good right now. It is considered a rogue deck, so I played this actually at a tourney once, went like 2-3, or 2-2, I think. I think we only had 4 rounds. But I'm looking to up this deck. I'm looking to get this a little better, and I found a way to do it. This deck is spicy. You guys will see that. This is basically an anti-meta deck, and yeah, it's not great against certain things, but it is really good against other certain things, you guys will see. So let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. If you guys did enjoy these deck profiles, go ahead, hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring the bell so you never miss when I do another one of these as well. And let's get into the spookiest of decks. Alright, so let's start off with the big boy in the deck. It's Dim King Balderok. Looking to play 2. Right now, playing 1, he can keep coming back. He's a problem. Next, we have 1 Jacko Ballon. Jacko Ballon is an extender in this deck. It's pretty good all around. It does have that effect that does come up quite a bit, where it lets you special summon it from hand if you discard a zombie monster, which gives you extenders if it is a unizombie or the like, or a plague spreader zombie, which I am talking about. Plague spreader zombie, again, he's just a card that you place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck, special summon him. So he's just an extender for synchros. Then the newest card I'm going to throw in here, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, the Spiridile. This is a good card that you can send. You can't special summon it, but you can special summon it if it's in graveyard from Gozuki or Mizuki, and this card is good. Basically what it says is send 1 zombie monster from your hand or deck to the grave. That's first thing. If this card is banished, you can banish 1 zombie monster from your graveyard and special summon it, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field, so she can keep coming back. Again, zombie monsters, you want them in the graveyard. You want them in there, because they facilitate so much in the grave. Then next we have 3 copies of Necro World Banshee. This is the easiest card to basically talk about in this deck. Basically, what it does is, it gets you Zombie World if it's in the grave. And if it comes out when Zombie World's out, can't touch Zombie World. So, this is just a way you basically have 3 terraformings. You basically have 3 terraformings in this deck. Or 4, actually, because there is a terraforming in here. And it is amazing. Now, the new card, along with another card we're going to talk about later, is Mad Mauler. Not only is it another Plague Spreader zombie by name, but it is also a card that can come back. Basically, you target a level 6 or higher monster you control, you reduce its level by 2, and special summon him back, and basically, you just can't summon anything other than zombie monsters. That's completely fine. But still, it comes up. This card is probably going to go out at some point, Red Eye Zombie Dragon. In tech plays, I'm thinking maybe I could replace it with a hand trap and stuff like that. But right now, Red Eye Zombie Dragon is here. I can tribute it by tributing a zombie monster, which also isn't mine. It can be a zombie monster on the field if Zombie World is out. And if it destroys the zombie monster, I can special summon that monster. So, and it gets an effect with Sucker, because if I have Sucker out, I can do some tech plays with it and get to draw a card, because I I contribute. If I have Sucker, I contribute your monsters for it. Tatsu Necro, I only play one Tatsu Necro. It really doesn't come up that much, but it lets you synchro from hand. So, or use the other material from hand. Then the big guys for this deck is triple Mizuki and triple Gozuki and also triple Unizombie. These are all things that let you pitch from deck. It lets you pitch from deck and it all to grave, which they can then use their effects in grave, and they can also let you special summon a zombie from the grave. Again, so good. It is so good in these decks. They're essential, and Unizombie, which we'll talk about here in a second, is level modulation. Not once, but twice. Because you can do it once by targeting the face-up monster on the field, discard a card, increase the target by 1, and then you can also target one face-up monster on the... basically, it does that. But you can send a zombie monster from deck to grave, increase that target's level by 1. So you get to do it twice. You got 2 different effects that let you increase the attack, or not the attack, increase the level of your monsters. But here's the card in here that makes this deck so different, and I'm only playing one of it. It is Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz is in here because we're going to get into it a little bit later, where you can basically send, for a branded fusion, Albaz and Necro World Banshee, and not only do you get Zombie World out, but you get Lubellion, and then you can get Mirror Jade. So, again, it is an amazing card to play in this deck, and it's a Super Poly, which I got a couple Super Poly targets in here as well. Then the hand traps. We get into the hand traps. Triple Skullmeister. Skullmeister is a DD Crow on legs. And it's got actually a pretty good attack stat. So that does come up quite often. Basically, if there is a card effect that's activated in your opponent's graveyard, Tier Limits, for example, you can basically use it and send it and negate the effect. So you can't banish the card, but you can negate that mill effect, which against tiers comes up. Then another card in here is Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This will probably change once I get Ash. Ash will probably go in here and it will replace the Ghost Ogres. And yeah, it is just an overall great card to have in here, especially against the meta right now. All in all, it's a great hand trap. I love Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And I consider these hand traps because they are protection for your zombie monsters. Algul Mazera. Algul Mazera basically says if a zombie monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you banish it from your hand or grave, and you special summon him after that. That is amazing. That's, again, that's great. And it's a level 8 to get out your zombie vampire, which we're going to talk about here shortly. Then, one glow-up bulb. I'm looking to up it to more than one. Just, right now, the one, just, I don't really see the... It really doesn't come up that often, to be honest. So, right now, it's just in here right now. It is a pretty good card to have in this deck. Let's get into the spells. Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is in here. You say you don't have a lot that you can reborn, that you can bring back out, and you just bricking. Reborn will help you. And with the amount of zombie monsters that are in here that lets you special summon from grave, Reborn is really good. Allure of Darkness. I'm only playing one Allure because some zombies in here are Earth and some of them aren't Dark, and if you don't want a blind Allure, but I could do the extra Allures in this deck. Then I'm playing one Dark Ruler No More. I am looking to up the Dark Ruler No More to something a little higher, like maybe 2 or 3. But Dark Ruler No More is now seeing that it's going to be in decks more and more and more in the main. So Dark Ruler No More is there. Then Card Destruction. Card Destruction not only disrupts your opponent, but it also says, guess what? I have fuel now for my zombie monsters. All in the grave. So, like, I'm okay turn 1, ditching my hand, getting a brand new hand with Card Destruction, and now I got fuel for this hand with my zombie monsters. So, and if you send like a Necro World Banshee or something like that, you got Zombie World for free. One Branded Fusion. I really only play the one Branded Fusion in this deck. I do have a second one on the side, but it may leave for Branded Bisted when it comes out. So, Branded Fusion is there. I'm also playing you want these cards in the grave? You wanted Twin Twisters. I am looking to probably get a second Twin Twister to add to this deck. So I have 2. Because I can discard a card, target 2, destroy. Back row. So that is amazing. Of course, one of Called By. Called By is a great I would call it a hand trap, basically, but it's not. It's just a really good card to stop hand traps and stuff like that, and cards that disrupt you. The Sun in the Grave. Also, obviously, Terraforming. You need Terraforming for the card we're going to talk about, which is Triple Zombie World. There isn't much that needs to be said about this card. It's essential for this deck. Basically, what it does, turns all your monsters, all your opponent's monsters into zombies, and in the graveyards as well. So you have that synergy where you can't, like if you're playing a Sprite deck, your opponent can't do stuff where it can't bring out Toad with the frogs. Now that Ronin Toad's banned, Toad's going to be a little harder to get out anyway. So it is what it is with that. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Zombie Reborn. This card is bananas in this deck. Bananas, because you could target a zombie in either graveyard, banish one monster with the same name from your deck or extra deck, which, if you're playing Branded Despia, or you're playing something that is very similar to your opponent, like they have a Draco Stapelia, you have a, you have that. You can banish it and special summon it, and you get the effects of Draco Stapelia. You get the effects of that. So, the Venom, Starving Venom, you get those effects then. So, and it gets another effect. If it's in the graveyard, you can shuffle back one of your banished zombie monsters back into the deck and then set it and use it again, but it gets banished next turn. So you can basically use it twice. Now, I will say that normally it only comes up like 2 is perfect, but you can't use it twice on the same turn, obviously. Then we got 2 Super Polymerization. I'm playing it in the main. Some people are playing it in the side, but in the main, this is essential because there is a fusion card in here that I don't have to use my opponent, my monsters to bring this guy out. I will take it. Next, I have this card right here. This card may be going out soon, especially if tier limits keep going up. It is Soul Levy. Basically, every time your opponent special summons a monster, send the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the grave. Again, it comes out against certain matchups, but tier limit, it sucks. So, Warning Point. I'm playing Warning Point, and I was playing D-Barrier, but Warning Point is just a card that is basically a poor man's Dimension Barrier. 1 Foolish Burial. which I forgot that was in the back. I apologize. Foolish Burial, it's essential. You can send any of your monsters for any of your, yeah, I can speak. Any of the zombie monsters that you want. And then last but not least, we got 2 Rivalry of the Warlords. Basically, your opponent can't use anything other than, this is actually the old art of Rivalry, actually. But, yeah, it says he or she can only control one type of face-up monster. And basically, you can only control one type. So, that is pretty nice. I do like that a lot. It is so good. It's an extra... it's basically an extra zombie world. It's an extra zombie world. And I did have this guy in here, but he got banned yesterday. Well, as of the moment I'm recording this, yesterday. But, yeah, he got banned. So, yeah. Good thing is, he is banned. He's been a major problem for the meta, and I hate him with a passion. So, we're going to get into the extra deck here, and start off with the boss lady herself, the Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire is so good in this deck. It is your boss monster in this deck, and basically, you can use a level, if you use a monster with a level that is owned by your opponent, guess what? You can treat it as a level 8. So, you can basically, what you can do is, if you have a level 8 on the field for the Z summon this monster, you can use that as a level 8. So if they have a level 4, you have a level 4, it's treated as a level 8. It's treated as a level 8. So that is freaking nuts. Basically, neither player can target this card with effects of special summon monsters, except those special summoned from the graveyard. That's the first thing. Really good. You can detach one material. Each player sends the top 4 cards from their deck to the grave, that if any monsters are sent there to either graveyard, you can special summon one of them. So, Tearlament, it's not great against, but if they have that, you can get their Tearlament monster, and you can do some shenanigans with it, because I have fusion monsters in this extra deck. Like Draco Stapelia, which requires a fusion monster and 1 dark. That's great. Again, this is a card that stops Tearlaments, and I can super poly with it, and I can also use it with Zombie Vampire to get a Tearlament card and fusion summon with the Draco for the Draco Stapelia. Starving Venom. Starving Venom. Obviously, Starving Venom is so good in this deck as well. He is a super poly target along with another card I'm going to talk about. Then the branded package. We got the Lubellion, we got the Mirror Jade. Those combined with, now it's not as powerful, but I use it for the effect if it leaves, basically. Basically, I'm just using that. He can only, he can't banish anything else, but I can use the effect to basically banish him after I bring out Mirror Jade, and Mirror Jade's effect that destroys everything on the field if he gets destroyed. Now, the last super poly target, and this is the card I wanted in this deck badly. It is Draco Necro, the Nether Soul Dragon. So this thing, basically, it has to be fusion summoned, so that's great with super poly. He's only a super poly target. Monsters cannot be destroyed without battle with this card. That's fine. At the end of the damage step, this card battle a monster that has an original level. That monster's attack becomes 0. Also, that monster is still face up on the field. You get to special summon a Dark Soul token. When summoned, its level and attack become equal to the original attack and the level of that monster. So, not only does it make your opponent's monster 0 and it stays 0, but you get a token and it gets that attack back. So, stinking amazing. Now we get into the synchros in here. We have Skeletal Dragon Felgrand. Basically, it is a free target opponent's monster and banish it when it's when it's special summoned. And when it is special, if a monster is special summoned from either grave, you can target one other face-up monster in the field and negate its effects. So this card is really good in this deck, and I like how it's a retrain of Felgrand too. Next, we get into the 2 Red-Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. I was looking to just drop it to 1. It basically gets an effect that it can keep coming back. If it it can destroy an opponent. I'm thinking of the other one. It can, if it destroys another monster by battle, when another zombie monster is destroyed by battle, that includes yours. Special summon 1 zombie from either grave and special summon it. And it also gains attack and defense for each zombie on the field and in grave. So it gets that effect for the zombie world. It also counts your opponent's monsters as well. Then next, we have the Immortal Dragon. It is a tuner, so it is a way to, if we have another level 4, we can go into Baronet de Fleur. Baronet de Fleur is not in this deck, but it is when I go to locals and stuff because I have it in my Sword Soul deck. So basically, this thing can keep coming back, and you can also send a zombie monster from your deck to grave. And he becomes that level, so he has level modulation as well. So that's really all he's used for. But then the big boss is Red-Eye Zombie Dragon Lord. He can keep coming back, first of all. And during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 zombie in your grave, special summon it. That's all you need to know with that. So, yeah, that is freaking great. And last but not least, the suckers. We have the suckers and the fascinators. I'm going to get into the fascinators, but the suckers, they come out as Link 2s. And you basically, if you tribute any monsters, like if you have tribute summons, you can tribute your opponent's monsters even though you don't control them, first of all. And then you would target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it, and if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, you get to draw a card. You get to draw a card. That's all you need to know on that. And the last card we're going to talk about is Vampire Fascinator. Vampire Fascinator, we're playing 2 in there. If it's linked, target an opponent's monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your field and defense position, and you can tribute a vampire monster, including yourself, target 1 monster your opponent controls, and take control of it, which you can then use to attack your opponent, and then in main phase 2, you can link it off, or even use it for a synchro summon or something like that. So, that was the deck profile for the zombies, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Probably in a couple days, you will see a deck profile for my favorite deck to play. It is the Sharks. The Shark deck, you will see that in the future coming up very soon. And if you all did enjoy this, feel free, go ahead, hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. And we will be back with that video. And you guys, I hope, will enjoy it. And again, I'm still new to the whole deck profile thing, so bear with me on that. But as always, stay awesome, my Dark Knights.